I hear the ballet music in the background. Are you at the theater?
Yes. So that's right. I'm at the theater, and we are in between. We are in a break and a lunch pause, and so perhaps there will be a bit of noise, as the dancers can be quite loud.
It's exciting.
Yes, especially during this time that
Yes.
where all of that has been rare. And
yes.
So.
So Myriam, tell me, are you performing? Are you doing live streaming, or do you actually have audience members coming?
So what is happening for us is that we have done a couple of, we say in French, captation, a couple of films that we've been posting on our website, on Facebook and so on. But unfortunately, no live streaming. And also we have, we've been quite active. We've been choreographing. We've been working in the studios at least, which great, but in terms of performing, we've had some good news yesterday. We might be back, or this, hopefully La Place des Arts, which is our theater here in Montreal, might reopen at the end of April. So we're hoping for that. It's still not exactly confirmed, but
that's wonderful. Have you been also in these 3 stages of lockdown since last year?
Sort of, yes. I think like most of us, and it's really affected all of us, the whole world. And at the beginning was a very drastic lockdown where we really didn't know how to handle the situation. So everything just shut down, everyone at home, right before, 1 week before a premiere. So we had prepared, we were ready to perform, and there you go, just like that, everything was stopped. It was quite a shock, I must say.
Was that also in March?
Somewhere in March, yes.
In March, yeah. So the work that you've done for this premiere, and that's suddenly then all cancelled.
Yes.
How did you feel in those first 3 weeks? Because I think in every country they said it was going to be a 3 weeks or so, the lockdown.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. So how did you find it then that time?
Oh, I had mixed feelings about the whole thing, and a lot of information was coming, and it was very hard to have a real opinion. My feelings were changing constantly between, okay, this is gonna be all right, and we will be back soon, and let's just try to keep in shape, because we never know, and so on, to moments where you don't see the end of that. So it was very, very confusing, very shocking, and but overall, definitely, I did not expect it to go on for as long as it did.
I speak to some dancers who say that they actually enjoyed this little break, that it's this time where they just felt, well, it's a forced standstill, it's like your bodies and all, you felt a bit more rest. And did you feel that as well?
I did as well. I think it was like it was like a reset. And I think that for dancers, our career is so intense. It goes very fast. We're just producing, and next. So sometimes we don't have time to reflect on how we feel, how we where we are, who we are, which actually enrich a lot the artistry of what we do. So I, of course, also needed partly this break too, and so there were ups and downs, but definitely in the up parts, it was nice to have that chance to sort of to stop and think about what is next, not only in terms of personal for myself, but also as community and for the collective. Where are we going in terms of art, and how much are we doing to give and to reach out to everyone?
Yeah. And this time I hear this exactly what you're saying now, this thought process, you know, about what you're doing, about the art that you're doing and why you're doing it. And I've also heard a dancer told me that she felt more focused on the artistry, that, you know, she realized that this is an art and that she's been always working on the technique and trying to get this perfection, but then she realized, I'm actually busy with an art.
Yes, absolutely. I feel in my case, I've always tried to stay close to emotionally to what I am doing, but I also feel that in order to bring something back on stage and in the studio, you need to take care of your life outside the ballet too, your family. I have a little boy, a 6-year-old boy, and so on. And I think all of those connections are so important and bring so much more to the artist. And so in that sense also, I had the time to spend time with my son, and unfortunately not with the rest of the family, right, with this, but still connect in Zoom and with friends and people that I hadn't talked to for a long time, and remember what is important as well. Yes.
Yeah. Where is your family?
Actually, my family is here. So my mom is here, yes, yeah. And my dad is in the Ontario, so it's near, but in Canada as well. So after many years internationally as a career, I decided to come back to home. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and especially for your son as well, because then he's close to his grandparents.
Yes, yeah. Which is wonderful for him. It's so enriching to have the chance to speak different languages. And he was born and grown up in Stuttgart, and now French and English, obviously. So
wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
But tell me, Myriam, did you do also Zoom classes?
So this is something. Yes, yeah. I mean, I started teaching during the pandemic,
okay.
and it's something I realized that is also just as important as what we give on stage, because it's art and it's all about art and expression, and I was very happy that I could bring back to or give something during that time as well, as I felt that was the one chance we had to still contribute.
Yes, that's wonderful. Yeah, that you did that. I'm talking to all the artists about what can we do to try and find a solution for the fact that some artists feel that art is not valued as much, or artists are not valued as much. And this time, I think this time put a spotlight on many things that have been really slowly starting to be a problem, but now it's all highlighted. Do you also think that way?
Absolutely. I feel like everyone is very much about just productivity and work, and that sometimes things are going so fast that people don't take care as much and as well as of their souls. And I find that perhaps it was good to stop everything. So I think a lot of people took back painting, music instruments, and started to see other things in their lives. And I certainly feel sad for the world, because we need to have a bigger emphasis on art in general, because for being healthy and well. And I feel that especially here in America, it's even harder, in the sense that in terms of education, it's less part of the education that I feel that way. In Stuttgart, I felt that people were a little bit more aware of the theater and so on. And in America, it's another system in another way. So we have to continue, and we have to try to fight for that in every possible way, whether it is teaching, giving more performances, and reaching as much people as we can.
I have this wish that we could see in schools that children are taught art alongside maths and science, so that they have this, I mean, they don't have to become dancers. It's not to train them for something, or you know, even in music, but that they have the knowledge, and that they have the exposure, and that they have also the ability to express themselves through whatever art they then choose to do that. But that we have, you know, that we start talking about how we can do that, so that they also, not just for their brain development and for their whole emotional development, but that they also then become the appreciation, the art appreciators of the future.
Yes, I agree 100%, and I feel like sensitivity is lost, and that there it's difficult to port attention to beauty and to detail. It's almost sometimes like there is no time for it in our society, and I think we have to start with education for that, to be able to say, hey, let's stop and really look closely here at this, and what does that mean, and how much work is into that, and also to just have the time to hear a real music, or to just to have the time to, and I think it's important to teach our children to do that.
And then another thing that I think in ballet it's quite more prominent is the fact that you have this distance from your audience, because in the sense that there's no voice, there's no I mean, also when you play an instrument, it's the same thing, but also for, I don't know, there's this perception of ballet that people have a different idea of really what it is to be a dancer. You know, they have these preset ideas that they get from the movies, you know, when they watch movies, and then it has not the realistic point of view. But don't you think it would be also a good idea if artists start talking about their art, you know, if they start telling not just the competitions that they won, but that they start telling what is it like to be a dancer, and how did I get there? I didn't just get there and you know, like it looks so easy, but the journey towards that.
Yes, exactly. This is something difficult in America too. I found, again, in Europe, there's a little more knowledge. It does take years of education to become a ballerina, and it's very many stages. And now, as I started teaching to a little bit, I realized the process again, no, because once you've done it, you forget, and yes. Absolutely, there's a whole series of steps that year by year that you have to achieve, you have to work on and achieve in order, and you can't go faster. The body needs the time it needs, and it would be interesting for people to be aware and of that, of course. As at the same time, as a dancer, you are just hoping when you go on stage that you can just bring something that is close to people's hearts and leave them with something in their soul. So all of that work is done for the purpose of giving, and so sometimes we tend to forget that perhaps we have to tell them, hey, you know, this is not so easy to do.
Yeah. Yes, I think this connection, you know, it's not that I think it should be a big drama, but it's just very interesting when people start talking about things. And also, of course, when you rehearse for a performance, it's a lot of rehearsal hours that goes into, you know, yes, a performance, and then
something that will be just 10 minutes long will be hours and hours and hours of perfecting it, so that exact moment obviously goes as planned and gives the impact that we want. Yes.
But tell me, Myriam, I know you're heading to a rehearsal, so I want to not take too much of your time, but was there anything that you did during lockdown that you normally wouldn't have done? Was there a new hobby that you started or
Well, I did spend a lot of time with my son, and yes, I did do a lot of things. I read books, which I normally don't have time to do, and just a lot of reflection, really reflected on what really is our purpose, and sort of gave myself a new direction, and which is extremely important, because slowly now we started to rehearse again, and of course that helped me a lot to have some power and courage to continue going in a direction. And I think that this is something you find for yourself. It takes time to find that. So in that sense, I'm thankful for that. And of course, I feel blessed that around me no one got ill, but I was really feeling that too. A lot of people were ill, and so it was also a difficult time, and felt a bit like a little bit like a war where everything is stopped. And so I'm hoping now we can move forward slowly, and I think what will come will be interesting too, because it will be les années new years with a lot of hopefully a lot of refreshment, and I'm hoping that it will be positive for everyone, for everybody.
Do you feel that also that there's more of a community feel, like a closeness, you know, suddenly between people?
Yes, between people, and yes, the importance of that, because even just coming back to work after so long, it was so nice to be able to say hello and see each other, and have a close or even just to see each other. So all of these things that we take for granted, and that now we realize how precious they are. And also the things that you know, just like which eventually I hope we can do again, is hug our parents, and all these things, that it's good to have a perspective on that, I think.
Yes. And amongst the dancers, are they very anxious now that when you dance together, or have they rearrange the whole choreography that dancers don't touch that much?
It's quite interesting. We're actually performing with rehearsing with masks and with glasses. We've had to readjust, but we tried to continue to find a way to be able to do partnering work, and to do our work as normal as possible. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting how that will also develop.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I think it's interesting how that will also develop, because I wonder if choreographies will also change now, you know, and choreographers do different works now. So I'm sure there will be there has to be, I think in all of us, there's a change, because we've all been through this situation. But
Certainly
Myriam,
an impact. Yes.
Just one last question. What is your wish for when this is all over?
Oh, well, I just wish that we can be again on stage, and that we can just be with an audience live, because especially with dance, it's not the same thing to stream, and something is lost through the camera, and I'm waiting for that moment so much. Yes. Yes.
Do you think audiences will be eager to come back to the theater?
I have a feeling that yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think yes. I think that everything that comes with that, just the idea of being able to go out and meet and have maybe a little dinner or a little glass of wine, watch a performance, and share what we saw, talk about what we saw, and share all of that, to the togetherness of that. And it's just so important for every age, for everybody, for the human, for it's fundamental. Yes. And unfortunately, it's the one thing that, you know, it's been hard for us artists, because it's the first thing that they said, okay, well, we need to stop and cut. But I think that, of course, there was a lot of répercussion, we say in French, and so I'm hoping that now we can go back on stage and we can give back.
Yeah, because I see a lot of the theaters. That's very interesting for me, that the theaters actually take so much care that the artists are safe, and also that the audience will be safe. Yet, you know, the doors hasn't opened yet. And
yes. It's interesting, and I feel like also that in some way, in other situations, they've made it possible for things to function, because, of course, of financial situations and so on, which with the arts, they have been a little bit, anyway, in our country here, a little bit slow with that. They've left that a bit aside. But it is just as important as anything else, because it's for the health, health.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think in this situation. In, you know, if we're talking, it's a pandemic. It's for our health that we're now trying to do all these things. You know, being locked down. But for our health also, you know, the art is so important. So
exact.
I mean, it's scientifically proven now. If they can help people with Alzheimer's and with Parkinson's disease by movement, then of course, you know, there's a lot going, a lot more in the mind than you know, just what we just think. So Myriam, thank you so much for your time.
It was lovely.
It's so special that you're at the theater now. Which theater is this?
Well, this is it's our Espace Danse. So it's not exactly the theater, it's our studios. You can see here one of them, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And so so it's actually the studios, and the theater is not very far away. We have an area in Montreal called Quartier des Spectacles, and everything is there. So yes.
Oh wow. Oh, thank you so much. This was now very special, and I really hope that at the end of April that you'll have your performance.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was lovely talking to you.
Lovely talking to you too. And thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.